What's up, everyone? Welcome back to A Line in the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we're back today with another episode of the USS Enterprise D from Fanhome, and we are just plugging along and getting through stages 39 and 40 today. And with these two stages complete, this will mark the completion of the forward half of the saucer section hull panels. We will have assembled everything and installed all of the panels in the forward half of the ship. And man, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So, just kind of wanted to introduce a couple of things that we do for doing our light blocking and our window scheme and all of that. And a couple of things have been introduced of late, and those couple of things are going to be here in the real color markers from AK. Ken, one of my great subscribers, went ahead and sent me this amazing gift. I still can't believe things like this actually happen. But he sent me these, and the amount of uses that I have found for them so far is kind of amazing. And how we're using it today is specifically for our light blocking on our windows and for our colored window segments. So in these couple of stages, the windows that I've done for the black, for the darkened windows, I basically just use electrical tape. There's no point in trying to paint over them, but I'm just going to put electrical tape over the top of them anyway. I can't tell the difference, and honestly, it looks cleaner, clearer, and it just is a much better look for me. If you don't want to do that, that's totally fine, but if you just want to use electrical tape to block out the back of your windows, go ahead. What I have done, however, is use the flat white, and this is, if you guys aren't aware, the real color markers from AK. These just came out a month or two ago, and this is the AK acrylic paint in a marker. Smells funny. But, I got to smell everything. But what it did was give me the white panels back behind without having to use a paintbrush, without having to do a bunch of cleaning, and I was able to get it in one pass, you guys. One pass, perfect coverage, no worries on any of that. Like, it literally went down so perfectly. I am also using, I'll put this back here so we can go ahead when we get on to stage 39. I'm also using the flat black in addition to my yellow and turquoise Sharpies for my acrylic window panels here as well. And I will show you what we're going to be doing when we get to stage 40. I just want to show you how I am taking care of using the flat black and putting them back behind, putting the black back behind where they have already painted a little bit and just helping what they've done, because I think that's the big issue that we have. And then, of course, how I put down a little bit of a color so our colored window scheme kind of comes through. So let's go ahead and get on to stage 39. And we're going to be assembling today 4 hull panels, and we're going to be doing some pretty significant work on the saucer section. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, so we have stage 39 here. Let's go ahead and get the rest of the package opened. And we won't worry about the card anymore. There we are. So here's our hull panel. Go ahead and get our screw sets out and everything else out, apparently. So it looks like we have some BM screws. So let's go ahead and just get everything open as we're going along here. We got our BM screws. Leave our package with it. We have some EM screws. We're going to be using quite a few EM screws today. And some CP screws. There we are. Looks like I got a couple screws that's kind of off to the side there. EM and CP. There we go. Got our package tossed away here. And let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. Here is our hull panel section, and we know that this is die cast because it's put in one of our little plastic pieces here. And for this one, it just called for 1 darkened window and 2 lighted windows. And that is what it looks like with the AK marker. That's one pass, and I'm able to do a much cleaner job, and it just turned out so good. So that's our hull panel for this one. It's kind of a larger one, kind of a heavy boy. We have our LED. We have our, well, this is the reflector for the neck panel, which we're going to bring back here in just a moment. We have our escape pods, which there are quite a few that we need to install here. And then, as I always love to say, the windows that we don't have to worry about. And as a reminder, I've done the UV resin window mod for all of my windows, except for the windows on the neck panel, although I've been experimenting and I may have come up with a solution for that. So we'll talk about that later. But for right now, we're going to continue on with the build on the neck so we can just kind of put it away and have all those parts be done. So there's that. We have our escape pods. Let's go ahead and get these installed. I'm going to go and bring out my single bladed nippers. And let's just go ahead and remove all of these real fast. Very quickly. Don't need to worry about getting these cleaned up. So I'm going to go ahead and separate all these out, and I will be right back. All right, there are empty sprues. There's something really just satisfying about getting rid of an empty a sprue, right? I don't know what it is, but when you're building a model and you're able to throw away a sprue, super satisfying. All right, now let's go ahead and get our escape pods installed. So we're just going to go ahead and put them in with our red line facing down, as always. Soon, I'm going to be getting the escape pod transfers from Mike Lane, and I am curious to see, and I'll put up a poll here in the coming weeks, but if you guys would like to let me know down below, what do you think? Should I do the resin wind, or should I do the escape pod transfers as I go along, or should I wait to do it until the very end as a special episode and drive myself insane by trying to do it all at once? So let me know down below. Let me know what you guys think. All right, now for our escape pod covers, what we're going to do is as always, we're going to secure these down into place for some light blocking and so that we can just make sure that they don't move around. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of ghetto measuring, so to say. We go from right there to right about here. There we go. And it's about a quarter inch or so down from the top that we need to cut off. Doesn't have to exactly be a straight line, but you'd like to try to make it that way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a portion of this. And what I've noticed is that this tape doesn't like to curve as much as the Tamiya curved line tape. I've always kind of lamented that, oh, it's just electrical tape, but no, it's really not. All right. We need to cut a little bit more off the ends here. There we are. There we are. I may have cut just a little bit too much off, so that's fine. We're going to use that excess that we just cut off and cut a little bit in the end. And just finish blocking up the top. Fantastic. So I'm not going to cut as far down as I did on that second one there. So just cut a little bit off the top. Grab our piece of tape. I've contemplated oh, this tape is on me. I've contemplated stopping showing this process, as I can take care of this during the but then we lose such amazing things as that, where I take all the escape pod covers off. I've contemplated just prepping these as well, so we can get to the nitty gritty of it. Let me know also as well. Let me know if you guys would like to see me continue to struggle with putting the escape pod covers in, or would it be okay with you guys if I just take care of this along with the windows at the same time? That way we can just get right down to it. Let me know down in the comments below. So what I'm going to do is start from this side, right up against the window that's already got some tape on it, and pull this across. Push that down. And there we go. With a little spin and a flourish. There we go. I'll go ahead and take this little piece of tape off along with that one. All right, and we are ready for the next stage of assembly. So let's go ahead and bring up, as always, we're going to be following along with myenterprisedee.com. And where we're going to start is actually not with this window. The official instructions call for us to take the reflector, put it over the top here. And as a reminder, I've got my AK, the real color AK, already light blocking this back panel right here. So we're going to go ahead and install this in place. Then we're going to go ahead and grab the cobra head. There it is. Go ahead and switch over to the side camera over here. There we are. We're going to grab this set of LEDs right here. I'm going to split them off. And then this set of LEDs right here, and we're going to split them off. We're going to be using the blue and red wires for this set. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab this first set of wires here, the one from the top, and we're going to loop this over. Let's go ahead and switch over to the top camera. We're going to loop this over. Let's go ahead and zoom in as well. See what I'm doing. I'm going to take this, loop this over, slide it into the LED slot right here. Then I'm going to grab the other LED, the blue and red, from the lower half, and get it tucked into the lower portion of the LED slot. There's a little hook there that's going to hold the LED in place. Then we're going to secure this in place with 3 CP screws. All right, there we are. We're all secured into place. Let's go ahead and fire it up and see how it looks. Oh, I was 100% correct about why the light blocking wasn't working. I'm going to take apart this other side in between episodes and do the same thing there. We need to basically take our flat black and run specifically behind where they painted before, because they did a horrible job of painting that. That's all I got to say about that. So we have our other 2 LEDs off to the side. There we are. Let's go ahead and turn this off. Don't want to waste the batteries. And we're going to go ahead and set this off to the side until next stage. All right, so let's go ahead and bring back the saucer section. Very freaking cool. Let's go ahead and turn it over, and where we're going to be installing this is going to be right here. And as we remember from the last episode, we put the extra tape right here to protect from this panel experiencing some light bleed. So let's go ahead and flip this over. And what we're going to do is we're going to slot this panel into place by clipping it in just like this on the front, turning the saucer section over. I'm going to be securing it into place to get it started with 1 BM screw right here. As a reminder, grab your 3-in-1 oil for any time you're going to be going into metal, and secure that into place. And it's pulling up, and we have a nice smooth, just double check. Okay, so I am actually really struggling with getting this panel installed, and I see why we need to do that extra light block, because there's just a little bit of a gap there in between. But with that extra piece of tape, we should not have any more issues. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I got that put into place properly, as it was not quite fitting the way I wanted it to. So let's go ahead and grab the LED that was left over. LED. Well, as I'm following the instructions, it seems like I can't figure out from where, but I am missing an LED somewhere. Very strange. So what I'm going to do is I actually have, I don't know if this is going to work, you guys, but I am going to snag an LED set here from one of the practice panels that I have. And we're going to use this and snip off one side. Oh, I don't know if this is going to work. Todd, I don't know what happened. Everything's hooked up properly. I think I'm just missing an LED from somewhere. Really strange. So I'm only missing one. But is it going to be able to plug into anything? Well, we'll jump off that bridge here soon. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut off that end of that LED. I'm going to go ahead and this is kind of crazy, guys. This model's seen some boneheaded mistakes lately. I'm not quite sure what happened, although it's likely it happened during the phase where I was taking all the panels off, and just to protect my little circuit here so I don't cause any shorts, I'm just covering this up here, the LED end, separating all that out. There we are. So yeah, it's likely during the phase of. So now, as I'm looking at it, I probably shouldn't have cut that LED. So let's see if I got another one. Oh my god. I do not. I'm going to solder these back together. I will be right back. All right, so I got it fixed. Jesus. So, where were we? We're going to need to take these two LED wires and we're going to go ahead and fit them into place right here and right here. I hope that there's an extra PCB slot. I'm assuming that there is. And so what we're going to do to get these installed real fast is I'm going to go ahead and loosen this panel a little bit. Just right through here. Just give a little bit of play. Get our LED shoved into place. All right, that one's plugged into place. Let's go ahead and get these tightened back up. There we are. Then grab the other part of our Franken LED here. I like that. We're going to need to loosen these two up just a little bit. I see that this one is already a little loosened. That's interesting. There we are. All right, that one's put into place. Let's get these tightened back down. All right, now that we got those two LEDs installed, let's go ahead and secure them into place with 4 EM screws. So, grab one of our EM screws here. Go ahead and get that into place. Forgot to go into my oil from that last one. Had a little bit of a recording snafu. Sometimes the technology doesn't quite work the way it's supposed to. There we are. Happened to grab the last two even though I didn't want to, but that's okay. All right, there we are. And we have one more after this one. All right, there we are. Let's go ahead and take a look to see how that went. Very nice. That turned out really good. Let's go ahead and get our next panel installed. And that's going to be U208. I was going to say U208, but second guess myself a little bit. So as always, we're going to start here on the top. So when we fit our first row in to with our die cast, you're going to kind of slot it in like this. You're looking for the 3 tabs to line up along with the lower portion of the hole. And turn this towards me so I can see it. And there we are. Then I'm going to hold this in place, flip it over, and while holding that in place, I'm going to go ahead and grab one of our BM screws. And we're going to put this right here in the center to help hold it in place while we get our LEDs put into place. There we are. I'm going to take a look to make sure that everything's still nice and flush. There we are. Perfect. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab our LED set. All right, we're going to go ahead and spread those out, and then we're going to go ahead and slot these into place right here and here. Let's go ahead and tuck that into Jordan, remember, you need to loosen these a little bit. We'll start here. And kind of push up on the panel there, just like so. Get the LED in and tighten it back down. Just want to make sure it's set in there properly. It is. Tighten that back down. Going to do the same thing on this side, so loosen this up just a little bit. Grab our LED. Push up on the panel just slightly. Slot the LED into its home, which is not exactly the easiest process, by the way, you guys. Kind of a tight fit through here. I would say that maybe having us put this LED in place beforehand might have been the better way to go. There it is, nice and put in place. Let's go ahead and get this tightened back down. Then we're going to go ahead and secure this in place with 4 more EM screws. We're going to go right up here. Now we're going to finish securing these 2 panels into place with 12 BM screws. All right, let's grab our last screw here. I had to remagnetize my screwdriver in the middle of that one. They kept falling out, and I'm like, why is this happening? Oh, yeah. You know. Yikes. All right. So there are our first 2 whole panels installed. Let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, you guys. That turned out really, really good. I see a little bit of a gap here, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen. So let's go ahead and light up these 2 panels that we just installed. So to do so, we're going to grab, it'll be these 2 plus the main. Okay. So let's go, these 3 plus the main. Let's go ahead and get everything lit up. Give a test to see how our light blocking turned out. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this. There is a big, big light leak right there. Oh, it's those 2 panels, not the first 2. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove that panel real fast and reinstall it, and we'll be right back, and then we'll test again to see how we took care of that. All right. It's just been tough getting this thing together lately, hasn't it? So let's go ahead and move on to stage 40, shall we? All right, let's go ahead and get stage 40 open, shall we? So, very simply, let's grab this. Grab some more BM screws there, because we're going to be installing a couple more whole panels here. Get our BM screws out with our other BM screws from the last stage. Whole panel. Let's go ahead and drop everything else out here. If we can get everything out in one shot. Well, Jordan, it would come out if you, finish this. Wow. It's been a long day of recording, and it seems to be my excuse lately, but it is the truth. So, let's go ahead and get everything else out here. There we are. Get our bag out of the way and make sure everything's out. Fantastic. Our windows that we're not going to do anything with. God, I love saying that. Escape pod covers, another couple of LEDs, or reflector panels, some DM screws. Interesting. Instead of EMs, we're going to be using DMs for this one. There we are. Pull our EMs to the back there and get our DMs up front. And here is our reflector panel. Now, for this, what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. And as you can see, if you look at the back of this panel, the paint is on there and it's okay. It's not the greatest, but when you put light through it, it is just absolutely light leak after light leak after light leak. So I'm going to take my real color marker here, and all I'm going to do is reinforce the paint back behind where it was painted before. All I'm doing is making sure that there is no light bleed that happens. So here we are. I'm just going to draw that. Just going over where they already did it. The real color markers dry really fast, so we're not going to have to wait long for this to cure. But all we're doing is helping the light blocking that they already gave us by just adding a little extra color. Okay, that's pretty much what all we got to do. Let's make sure we come through there. There we are. Just make sure it was all covered up, but it does dry really fast. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to grab, let's do these two right here in turquoise. So I'm just going to color the backs of those turquoise, just like that. Very simple. And then I'm going to come here through and grab my yellow, and I am only going to do one, and it's going to be the one right here at the very top. So I'm pressing kind of hard, and just like that. So there's our whole panel, our window panel section ready for the neck, which is basically going to be finishing up what we're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and move on to the rest of stage 40. I'm going to let these set off to the side to dry, and we're going to basically just set that aside to wait until our next episode, as I realize that we need to be putting the reflectors on, and it's not until next episode where we actually go ahead and finish up the cobra heads. So let's go ahead and slide the saucer out of the way, zoom out a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Let's go ahead and grab our whole panel section here. So we have our darkened windows here. Then we have 4 white and 3 white right there, or lit windows. What we're going to be doing is starting with our escape pod covers. So I'm going to go ahead and get this taken care of, and I will be right back. All right, so there we are. Our escape pods are installed and light blocked and ready to go, as we can see here. Very good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab this larger of the 2 reflector panels. This is going to be one of our 2 reflector panel sections, and we're going to set it over the top of the lugs right here. Then we're going to grab the it seems I have been scrambling around and looking, and I swear I just looked back at the footage that I just recorded. I looked inside the package, and they didn't give me my long LED that came with it. So, Todd or Ian, I know you guys have some extra long cables hanging around. I'm going to take a quick stab to see if I happen to have an extra one of those 2-hole connectors. I do not. One more place to look. Nope, I certainly do not. So, Todd or Ian, I'm going to be in contact because I need one of the gray and red 2-hole connectors that fit right here into the small like E or F type slots. So we're going to need to get one of those from there. So I'm going to go ahead and move on, finish up the rest of the stage, and I'll be asking for some help from you guys as we go along. So, am I going to be able to install that without? I'm just looking ahead to the instructions right now. I will be able to install this without having to worry about too many things here. So, okay, I'm just going to go back up to the top here. We're going to go ahead and slide our shorter LED and we're going to go ahead and put it down here into this lower position. And then we're going to go ahead and secure this into place with 4 DM screws. So the DM screws are our flange screws. And as a reminder, when you're going into metal, go ahead and use your 3-in-1 oil. And don't over torque these because we're going to have to loosen them eventually when I do get that one cable. Do inventory your parts if you're building a Partwork from Fanhome. If you have an issue, whatever reason that's not wanting to tighten down very well. If you have an issue and are missing parts, you want to try to catch that within the first 30 days or so. Otherwise, Fanhome's not going to help you. So that's why I ask either Ian or Todd if you guys have any extra 2-pin connectors or 2-pin long LEDs. But let me know. I'd appreciate it. Let's go ahead and grab our last DM screw. This has just been LED issues today. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bend up on this LED right here. And let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see what I'm doing. And we're going to go ahead and grab the other reflector panel. We're going to go ahead and set this one over the top just like that. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the other LED from this panel here, and we're going to slot it into place from this panel, from the other side of the panel here, bend it up, and then get it down into its proper spot. Then we're going to go 4 more DM screws. All right, our last DM screw is going into place. There we are. And just to make sure everything still looks good up front. Yeah, everything looks good. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this LED and we're going to bend it down into the recess just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and test this with our PCB board, with our testing board. So just make sure your polarity is correct. There we are. It's all lit up. And that's with the AK marker, the real color marker. And I got to say, man, that looks so good. I am pleased that that is going to be so easy, much more easy to take care of going forward. I'm not going to have to take like 15, 20 minutes just to paint, let dry, and then we can start using it. So that is fantastic news. Let's go ahead and get that removed. And let's go ahead and work on installing this into our next spot. So we're going to go ahead and flip it over as always to start. What we're going to do is we're going to be slotting this one into place just like so, right here. So to do so, what we're going to do is we're going to take our cable here and we're going to run it very carefully just on the other side of the PCB right there. And then we're going to go ahead and tuck our whole panel into place just like so. This one going to take a little bit of encouragement. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and flip this over. And just like that. Going to make sure that our wires are actually slotting through properly. So I'm going to grab my tweezers here. We're going to go ahead and pull our wire connector right through here. So what's happening is my wires, slide that out of the way, they're jamming up right here underneath the PCB. So I want to make sure we're pulling them through. I'm actually going to grab my hooked tweezers. These are kind of cool. Grab those. And this allows us to kind of grab onto the wires and pull. So I can get to the point where I can just grab it with my hand. So, don't do what I did. And don't let those get bumped up. Or clumped up, so to say. Okay. Now, we're going to secure this in place with 2 BM screws. And I'm going to start, let's go ahead and zoom back out again. And zoom in a little bit. And we're going to be starting our first BM screw right up here in this corner. Grab one of our BMs here. Into our 3-in-1. And secure into place. 3-in-1 oil is going to be really important right here because you need a little bit of leverage to get on there. And then the second BM screw is going to be attaching right behind the PCB right here. All right, so there it is. That took a little bit of manipulation. Well, let's see how that turned out. Oh, buddy. Look at that, you guys. One more section to install. Let's go ahead and get that done. All right, we got our wires hooked up there, and I went ahead and hooked up our Franken wires as well. And it looks like we're going to start to bundle some of these up over here. So I'm going to leave that for later on. Let's go ahead and move on to getting our final whole panel installed. So let's go ahead and flip this back over. As usual, what we're going to do is slot our wire right through this spot right here. And then what we're going to do, as is with all of our panels that are going to bend this down here, obviously. We're going to slot them in their two spots. And get it installed. These ones are a little challenging to get in, so I'm going to kind of turn this towards me a little bit here so I can see what I'm doing. They're a little challenging to get in as we're trying to match the curve of the hull and get that slotted into place. But there it is. Man, that looks good. Let's go ahead and turn it over, holding it in place. Let's check our wires here. We want this wire here to travel through this channel right through here, which it's doing. And we want this yellow wire here to just kind of be sitting in this little channel area right through here. Okay, perfect. They are routed properly. Excellent. And we're going to hold this in place with 2 BM screws at the very top. Two of them just kind of popped into place just like that. Let's grab the other one, get it popped into its spot. And get both of these tightened down while I'm awkwardly holding this thing. And our final, oh, pulled it out, of course. Because I'm holding it weird. And our screwdriver is super magnetized. All right. Let's tighten down. Get our other side fully cinched in. And let's go ahead and turn it over. Oh, buddy. Look at that, you guys. Let's go ahead and zoom out. The whole forward section of our saucer section is completed. Oh my God, you guys. For all the challenges that these two stages presented, this turned out looking so good. I am so pleased with the progress that we have. So, well, I'm going to need some help getting some parts. Obviously, because this one panel is missing one of its LEDs, and there's nothing I can do about it. Actually, this panel. When we're on the upside down or wherever, things can be kind of hard to tell from perspective. So, that's what I got for you today. We have crossed over into stage 40. We're now in the 40s. I have, I think, about 8 to 10 stages still available to build. And we're about 2 months away now from finishing up the entirety of the top saucer section. And in the next episode, my friends, we are going to be going through installing that piece into our next section, into our Cobra head, and getting it sealed up and finished as we cross another major milestone for this build. So I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me build a model, which I think is pretty damn cool. If you guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world where we happen to be. And just remember to always live long and prosper.